is breaking news from KSL.
We begin with breaking news this morning out of Salt Lake City, where police are confirming one person has died after a hit and run.
It happened about 1:30 just a few hours ago, this near 1000 North Topaz Drive. We're still getting information, but the crash analysis reconstruction team, homicide detectives, crime lab, they are all helping with this investigation. You see the scene there. Stay with us here on KSL Today. News specialist Kara Bracken will join us in the 5 o'clock hour with the very latest from that scene.
Now let's head a
few minutes.
Thank you. Well, we're a month into the 100 deadliest days on Utah roadways, and Utah Highway Patrol says it hasn't been a great start.
Yeah, there's always a lot of hope here, but UHP is calling it unacceptable with more than 20 deaths, over 370 DUIs. That's just in the 1 month span. Since January to last week, so up to this point in the year, there were 105 crashes taking the lives of 121 people. Following multiple deadly incidents involving motorcycles, UHP is reminding everybody, drivers out there, you have to pay attention.
Look for motorcycles before you change lanes. Look for them coming up behind you, in front of you. Just be cautious of motorcycles because they are out there on the roadways now that the weather is warm.
Another reminder from UHP, especially with the 4th of July tomorrow, look out for pedestrians. A lot of people, kids, adults will be in and out of traffic, looking around neighborhoods to watch fireworks. They want everyone to remember to be cautious when driving in areas that are not well lit.
A man who police say hit and killed a cyclist late Saturday night in Centerville is believed to have died by suicide moments later. Witnesses say the driver hit and killed 63-year-old Kevin Jessup on the frontage road near 600 South. They say after the impact, the driver got out of his truck to check on Jessup, then left. When police caught up with the driver outside his West Bountiful home, they say he ran inside, and that's when they heard a gunshot. They later found him dead after getting a search warrant. The crash is still under investigation. A Mill Creek man traveling in Idaho.
This is breaking news from KSL.
We have breaking news happening right now on KSL. A deadly hit and run here in Salt Lake City. Police are telling us homicide detectives are on the scene.
Kara Bracken is there at the scene. She will join us live in just a few minutes.
Yeah, we've got a lot to break down for you. It is
Valley. Tamara.
Katia, thank you. We are following breaking news this morning of a deadly hit and run in Salt Lake City.
News specialist Kara Bracken now joining us. Kara, I know you got to the scene early this morning. What do we know? What's happening out there?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we just heard from officials. They are investigating a deadly hit and run crash. Right now behind me, you're going to see officials. You're also going to see the homicide unit. Now, the reason for that, they believe a car and a man on a scooter both were involved in this crash. Detectives believe a car was driving one direction when the driver spun around figure eight style, hitting the man on the scooter. And from early investigation, we can tell you it looks intentional, as if targeting that person. Now, as far as timeline, this started just after 1 o'clock in the morning. Authorities have no description of the car or details of the car, so that is why they are asking the community for help. Officers right now, they're working on talking with neighbors, they're knocking on doors, all of those things, trying to piece together exactly what happened. And as far as delays may go, they say that from here, from Topaz Drive, a few blocks west of me, will be closed for the next several hours, guys.
All right, Kara Bracken reporting intentional. That brings up a lot of questions there.
Yeah, thanks for that report.
Kara, thanks. Scare up Big Cottonwood Canyon after two people fell into fast-moving water. Happened in the canyon, Big Cottonwood Creek, near the Ledgemere picnic area. This yesterday afternoon. Fortunately, Unified Fire tells us both people were pulled out. No word on their conditions. We will bring you any updates on this story right here on KSL.
On Heat Watch this morning, we saw some of the warmest temperatures
To I-15. Tamara.
Katia, thank you. We are following breaking news this morning of a deadly hit and run in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, this is happening near 1000 North Topaz Drive, and that's where we find news specialist Kara Bracken. Kara, what do we know about this right now?
Hey, good morning to you both. Yeah, we just heard from officials about a half hour ago, and this is what they are looking at. They're looking at a deadly hit and run crash here in Salt Lake City. So if I spin to the side here, you're going to see the yellow tape is still up. Several police officers are still here, as well as the homicide unit. Now, the reason for that, there's a crash involved here. Of course, we've got a car and a man on scooter. Those are the two players in this. Detectives believe a car was driving one direction when the driver spun around, crossing traffic, figure eight style, hitting the man on the scooter. From early investigation and crash reconstruction, they tell us it looks intentional, as if targeting that person. Now, this started just after 1 o'clock this morning. Authorities, Salt Lake City Fire and paramedics, they rushed to the scene when it has happened. They have no description of the car or details, so that's why they are asking the community for help. If you know of anything, you saw anything, they want you to call it in.
Again, our ask is any community members, if anyone lives along here, if anyone was traveling around that 1 o'clock time frame, please check your surveillance cameras, your doorbell cameras for any kind of evidence.
And right now, officers are working on knocking on doors, doing all those kinds of things, trying to piece together exactly what happened, as well as looking for any kind of surveillance video that might be on some of those Ring doorbells. As far as travel impacts for later this morning, they say from here on Topaz Drive, about a few blocks west of me, they say that things will be closed off for the next few hours. Guys.
Thank you for that report. Hopefully they can find some answers, Kara.
Yeah. All right, Kara, thanks. Breaking overnight, West Jordan police say teenagers.
Minutes. Tamara.
Katia, thank you. We're following breaking news this morning of a deadly hit and run in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, news specialist Kara Bracken has been on scene this morning. Kara, what do we know now?
Hey, good morning to you both. Yeah, right now officials in the homicide unit, they are investigating a deadly hit and run crash. Now, that said, with this, you have a car, you also have a scooter involved with this. If I step to the side here, you're going to see some of that action behind me. You're going to see that yellow tape is still up. There are several police vehicles and those types of different people that are out here investigating this scene. They tell us from early investigation and crash reconstruction that it looks intentional, as if targeting that person on the scooter.
Detectives believe that a car was traveling westbound on 1000 North when it turned around, and it appears that it intentionally crossed traffic and hit the man on a scooter that was traveling westbound.
Now, this started just after 1 o'clock in the morning. Authorities, including Salt Lake City Fire and paramedics, they rushed to this scene to try and help after they learned what was going on. Now, that said, right now what they're doing as far as investigating goes, they're also knocking on doors and asking neighbors in the area to check their doorbell cameras, make sure they don't have any video on there that might point to the person that hit this person on the scooter, because right now they don't have any kind of idea as far as what kind of vehicle it was or details on that car. That said, if you do know anything, if you're in the area driving around that 1 o'clock time frame, they ask you to call it in. For now, they're reporting live in Salt Lake City. I'm Kara Bracken. I'll send it back to you inside.
Yeah, definitely could use the public's help at this time.
No doubt. Kara, thanks.
Well, a scare at Big Huntwood Canyon after two people fell into swift water. Now, this happened in Big Huntwood Creek near the Ledgemere picnic area Sunday afternoon. Fortunately, Unified Fire tells us both people were pulled out. No word on their conditions at this time. We'll be sure to bring you any updates to this story right here on KSL.
Fire danger is increasingly drastic in our...
Katia, thank you. We are following breaking news this morning of a deadly hit and run in Salt Lake City.
Let's kind of zero in, show you the area in question. It's happening near 1000 North Topaz Drive. News specialist Kara Bracken and our crew on scene. Kara, what do we know right now?
Hey, good morning to you both. Yeah, we've been here since early this morning, but they've been here longer investigating a deadly hit and run crash. Now, I'm going to step to the side here. You can see what we're seeing, and that is several police cars still here, as well as yellow tape up. You've got all of those different elements. Right now, they're looking into a crash involving a car and a man on a scooter. So you've got those two players. Detectives believe a car was driving one direction when the driver spun around, crossing traffic, figure-8 style, hitting the man on the scooter. Now, from early investigation and crash reconstruction, they say it looks intentional, as if targeting that person on the scooter. Now, this started just after 1 o'clock in the morning, so we're on 6:30, so we're going on plus 5 hours. Officers in Salt Lake City Fire Department, the paramedics, they all provided life-saving aid to that person who died on the scene. Officers secured the intersection. They immediately started looking for the car involved, which they say should have some front-end damage. They have no description of the car and details other than that, so that's why they're asking the community for help. If you know of anything, you saw anything, they ask that you call it in.
Again, our ask is any community members, if anyone lives along here, if anyone was traveling around that 1 o'clock time frame, please check your surveillance cameras, your doorbell cameras for any kind of evidence.
They say they're still working to find out if the driver and the man on the scooter, if they knew each other. This crash does mark the 6th traffic-related fatality and the 11th homicide in Salt Lake City for this year. Now, officers right now, they're working on knocking on doors, doing all those kinds of things, trying to figure out if they can learn any more from any kind of doorbell ring cameras or any kind of word of mouth of seeing anything, of course, of what happened here, so they keep working toward those answers. For now, they're reporting live here in Salt Lake City. I'm Kara Bracken. I'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, I could really use the public's help this morning. Thank you, Kara.
Breaking overnight, West Jordan police say 4 teenagers are in the hospital.
KSL Live at 5 starts now.
Good evening. Happening right now. The hunt is underway for a driver who hit and killed a man on a scooter and then took off. Making things worse here, Salt Lake City police believe that the driver did it on purpose.
News specialist Dan Rascone spoke to police and neighbors and joins us now live. Dan, a very, very sad situation here.
Yeah, actually a very sad situation. Neighbors just in shock over what happened. Apparently, according to witnesses, this man on the scooter was heading westbound right here, coming this direction when a car passes him. And then according to witnesses, that car turns around, comes back, crosses the traffic and runs right over him. Now, this all unfolded about 1 o'clock in the morning. According to witnesses, the car was also traveling westbound, and when it flipped around and then crossed the street and hit the man, that's why police believe it was all intentional. The 61-year-old man was pronounced dead on scene. Several neighbors we spoke with heard the crashing noise and saw the man lying out on the road. They all could not believe that someone would do such a thing to another person.
I mean, I'm always in awe of how both wonderful humans can be and how awful humans can be.
The motive is unknown. We don't know the why behind it, and that's why we're asking if that person that was in the car or people in the car at the time, please give us a call. Turn yourselves in. Let's figure out what happened here.
This is door cam video right after it happened. You can see the frantic moments of the people walking along the front porch saying call 911. We'll have more on that coming up at 6 o'clock. Also hear from the man or the owner of that home in regards to what he saw kind of unfold right out in front of his house. I'm Dan Rascone, live at 5.
All right, Dan, thank you. West Jordan police say a car driven by minors
On its app is stored. Well, coming up on KSL-5 News at 6, another tweak to Twitter. News specialist Shara Park looks at what the new viewing limits mean for your feed and what it could do to the critical information you consume.
One of the biggest social media platforms in the world is now restricting how much content you can view unless you pay. The controversy with Twitter coming up tonight at 6.
Well, happening tomorrow, the famous
Him to jail.
Salt Lake City police pleading for the driver who hit and killed a man to please come forward. The hit and run happened along 1000 North and about 1020 West. His special Dan Rascone has reaction here, and Dan, police believe this was intentional. That's disturbing.
Yeah, it is very disturbing here, Mike. You know, according to police, they say the homicide squad is now investigating this case. It was about 1 o'clock this morning. That man going on a scooter westbound right along the road here when witnesses say they saw a car flip a U-turn, turn around and come right at him and run him right over. Frantic moments caught on a door camera just after 1 o'clock in the morning. A couple yelling to call 911 after a horrific accident.
Yeah, a guy laying in the street.
That happened right out in front.
Right about here was where the man's body was.
Of all these neighbors' homes.
It was all taped off.
Located right along 1000 North and about 1000 West. A man riding a scooter is suddenly hit by a car and killed.
I just think it's tragic that a man lost his life out there, and it's very, very sad to see.
But police believe it was no accident. Instead, they believe it was intentional, turning this case into a homicide investigation.
Our detectives believe that the car was traveling westbound on 1000 North when it turned around, now traveling eastbound, crossed the lanes of traffic and hit that person that was riding the scooter.
The reason they believe that is because of witnesses like Richard Gutierrez's sister and roommates who happened to be out on the front porch at the time.
She said that he did a U-turn, turned around to hit the guy.
Something neighbors just can't believe someone would do.
And I'm always in awe of how both wonderful humans can be and how awful humans can be.
It's awful. It's terrible.
Police now hunting for the driver and pleading for them to turn themselves in.
The motive is unknown. We don't know the why behind it, and that's why we're asking if that person that was in the car or people in the car at the time, please give us a call, turn yourselves in. Let's figure out what happened here.
Yeah, police not releasing the name of that 61-year-old right now. They say they're still trying to contact family. If you know anything about this case, you're asked to call the Salt Lake City Police Department. Mike, back to you.
All right, Dan Rescon live tonight. Dan, tough story. Thank you.
Some good news tonight for one of Utah's. One of the largest social media platforms in the world is now restricting just how much content users can see each day.
Yeah, the move by Twitter impacts hundreds of millions of users out there. And as news specialist Shara Park shows us, it could limit your ability to view important information.
It's something I just check in with.
While the reasons for scrolling Twitter vary,
I go to it for basketball news and sports news.
Users are now limited to what they can see.
It kind of seems a little fishy, just not being able to see everything that's out there.
On Saturday, owner Elon Musk announced temporary limits on viewing tweets. Verified accounts, which are now paid accounts, can see 6,000 posts. Unverified, 600. New unverified, 300.
It doesn't take a lot of scrolling if you use Twitter very frequently to hit that limit.
Dr. Alex Lawrence, an associate professor at Weber State University and internet technology specialist, says one reason for the new limits is to reduce data scraping.
AI and bots have started to hit Twitter much more aggressively and much more frequently to grab tweets and profile information so that they can use them for a variety. I mean, you can let your brain go wherever it'll go for a variety of, kind of more like marketing and business purposes that still it's not really designed for, to spam people or hit them with messages.
Many organizations are now adjusting to the new limits, trying to ensure that their content is seen. The National Weather Service, for example, encouraging Twitter users to have multiple ways of receiving weather warnings. So Twitter is privately owned, which means Elon Musk is under no obligation to make sure that tweets about health and safety stay in your feed. To ensure that they do, there are two options. One, you can pay for a verified account. That way you see more tweets. The second is to create a list on your account so you only see the users that you want to see. In Salt Lake City, Shara Park, KSL-5 News.
All right, Shara, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so things got